Hello, and thank you for joining us on the news on NTA International. I am Norlin Ebel Ame. First, the news headlines. President Buhari pledges to strengthen anti-graft institutions to fight corruption for sustainable growth and development of Nigeria's economy. Minister of Budget gives 2019 budget breakdown, says President Muhammadu Buhari keen on ensuring funding of critical projects. Plus, ECOWAS Parliament reminds member countries to hold on to ideologies of founding fathers for the development of the sub-region. And now the news in details. President Muhammadu Buhari has described the slow pace in which corrupt elements are prosecuted and appropriately punished as the major frustration of his administration in its effort at stamping out corruption in the country for sustainable growth and development of the economy. Responding to questions in a special interview he granted to the Nigerian Television Authority, the president, however, vowed to be decisive and ruthless in dealing with economic saboteurs and other criminal elements in the next level. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports.
And I'm begging God to lead me and make me succeed.
During the no-holds-barred exclusive interview that lasted 25 minutes, President Muhammadu Buhari addressed a wide range of issues regarding his person, politics and governance. On the fight against corruption, one of the cardinal objectives of his administration, the president said, although substantial asset recoveries have been made from both within and outside the country, the pace of prosecuting and punishing the corrupt is rather slow.
It's taking too long, by my own hope, to see that people are punished, as those who have frustrated the economic development of the country. That's my biggest frustration, really.
Hope, he however said, is not lost, as the federal government under his watch will not give up until corruption and criminal activities inimical to the growth and development of the country are brought to a halt.
So is it a confirmation that we are likely to see more of a General Buhari? Next level?
Well, I don't know what you make of me, but if you...
But you're going to be more ruthless.
Well, all those who call me Baba go slow, they will see whether I'm slow or fast.
What does that mean, sir?
It means that I will persuade the police and the judiciary to be hard. And where I uncover that they are not hard, I will try and trace who is responsible for the slowness. We are making noise that we want people to come and invest their money. Who will bring his money when his general manager will be abducted? My message to Nigerians is they should please expose the criminals in their neighborhoods to help the government clear the country. This is what will move Nigeria forward. You cannot accommodate criminals in your neighborhood and start blaming government, glibly blaming government that nothing is being done.
The police and the judiciary, he emphasized, will be made much more efficient to effectively discharge their mandates in the greater interest of all Nigerians.
The police in every major town and city in this country, as I said, they were not given the uniform and the rifle to salute to impress anybody, but to secure the people.
Although the armed forces have succeeded in degrading the Boko Haram insurgency and keeping the country together, President Buhari insists that a lot is still expected from them.
I'm used to very high standards. I told you I did all the commands and so on, from second lieutenant to general and commands all over. I'm still expecting more.
In the build-up to the last general elections, sustained efforts have been made to scuttle President Buhari's chances of getting re-elected, especially by the nation's elite to which he belongs.
Did you feel betrayed?
No. I found out that the elite are just for themselves. They want to impress on the population, on majority of Nigerians, that they do dictate the terms. That's why I didn't so much bother about what they feel and what they threaten they could do. And I'm very pleased that I proved myself right.
So who is Muhammadu Buhari?
I think I went through hell, so I'm fully qualified as a suffering Nigerian.
President Muhammadu Buhari appreciated Nigerians for not only putting him under the microscope at all times, but also sustaining their trust and confidence in him, which he promised never to betray. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari blames decades of neglect and resource mismanagement for poverty and insecurity in Nigeria. In a statement signed by the Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, the President spoke Tuesday at State House, Abuja, while receiving in audience the board of Ecobank Transnational Incorporated, led by the group chairman, Mr. Emmanuel Ekazobo. The Nigerian leader stressed that government remains committed to the goals of securing the country, inclusive economic growth and the fight against corruption. Mr. Ekazobo disclosed that the Ecobank Group is in 36 countries in Africa and 40 globally. Mr. Ekazobo said President Buhari's recent re-election is a testimony of the hard work done, adding that reforms embarked on by the administration across sectors will have deep, long-term impact on Nigeria, West Africa, and Africa. All right, moving on. Preparations are on top gear at the Eagle Square for Wednesday's presidential inauguration. Doyin Dia has details.
It's less than 24 hours to the presidential inauguration here at the Eagle Square, and Nigeria patiently waiting to witness yet another history-making event in the life of a nation. The flag is already flying high to demonstrate the mood in the city, just as the chairman of the Presidential Inauguration Committee, who also doubles as the secretary to the government of the Federation, says all arrangements are in top gear to ensure a smooth and itch-free celebration.
Along with all the other equipment that ought to be in place, the public address system is working very well. The drills, you've watched them a couple of times. We've been discussing about the logistics of moving people, busing people from the pickup points, and also the diversions of the routines. Comprehensive information will be released later part of the day with regards to that. So I think by and large we are good to go.
Yeah. Who are the people expected here to be here tomorrow?
Extended the invitation to the entire spectrum of our society. You can see that we have even made provision for people that are suffering one form of inability or the other, or disability or the other. So we're prepared to receive the whole spectrum of Nigerians.
As it is, dignitaries are coming one after the other to inspect the auditorium where the event will be carried out tomorrow. From the Eagle Square in Abuja, Doyin Dia, NTA News.
Thank you, Doyin. And we shall now take the report of Adamu Sambo on President and Ecobank board meeting.
Poverty and insecurity we are experiencing today is a result of decades of neglect and resource mismanagement.
As the most populous and resource nation on the continent of Africa, President Muhammadu Buhari said Nigeria maintains a unique position and therefore shouldn't have found itself in this unfortunate situation. His administration, he however said, is determined to reverse this trend of squandermania.
And indeed, we have made progress in some areas such as agriculture. May I, in this connection, appeal to Ecobank to institute a special fund to develop agriculture. That will cement your legacy as a bank which helped transform this region's economic fortunes.
He said the governing APC will remain committed to its goals of securing the country, fighting corruption, as well as achieving inclusive economic growth.
I am particularly pleased to see that your bank is very active in promoting financial inclusion. This is key to our economic diversification agenda. I want to assure you of our continued support to ensure you, and indeed the entire banking sector, achieve your goals.
On the request by the bank for decongestion of Apapa ports and rebuilding of the transnational Lagos-Badagry semi-road, President Buhari said action has already been taken and people will start seeing results during his second term of office. The group chairman of the board of Ecobank, Mr. Emmanuel Ihazobo, disclosed that the bank, founded 30 years ago, is now operating in 40 countries with over 20 million customers, 8 million of them Nigerians. President Buhari's re-election, he said, is a testimony of the hard work done, saying the reforms embarked upon by the administration across sectors will have deep and long-term impact on Nigeria and Africa. From the State House, Adamu Sambu, NTA News.
And still on President Muhammadu Buhari is keen on working with the leadership of the 9th National Assembly to ensure that funding for critical projects is not disturbed. This is coming on the heels of adjustment made by the 8th National Assembly, which has left the budget with a total deficit of 1.918 trillion naira. Minister of Budget and National Planning, Senator Udoma, while presenting the breakdown for the 2019 budget as assented to by the President, says the deficit represents 1.37% of the GDP. This will be financed by borrowing split equally, both domestically and internationally.
So as to increase productivity, create jobs, and stimulate further growth. And Mr. President is committed and has directed that all measures necessary to be taken to ensure that we grow rapidly while maintaining fiscal sustainability are taken. And to ensure that this happens, the President set up a Projects and Programs Committee. This committee has concluded its work.
The 2018 budget performance is put at 79% of the total appropriation sum of 9.12 trillion naira. And on Senate and the budget, the Senate has passed the 2019 Federal Capital Territories Appropriation Bill of 243.3 billion naira. Leading the debate, Senate leader Ahmad Lawan explained that the focus of the budget is to ensure effective service delivery and the completion of ongoing projects in the Federal Capital Territory. 130.7 billion naira is for capital projects, while 57.6 billion naira is for overhead costs. The House of Representatives has approved more than 243 billion naira budget for the Federal Capital Territory for 2019. A breakdown of the FCT budget shows that capital expenditure has the highest sum of 130.720 billion naira. Personnel cost is to Gulf 55.043 billion, while overhead has an approval of 57.610 billion naira only. The House also passed the Nigeria Petroleum Industry Governance and Institutional Framework Bill, which seeks to create clear separation between policy, regulatory, and commercial institutions. For stories from the financial sector, Chazalam Ikie is standing by.
Thanks for joining me. The Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment Okechukwu Enelama says the Buhari administration has evolved pragmatic strategies that will generate about 20 million jobs from 4 key sectors of the Nigerian economy in the next administration. Enelama said the Buhari administration has strengthened the drive to curtail the country's rising unemployment by creating jobs and providing employable skills for youths. And close watchers of the economy say the signing of the 2019 appropriation bill into law will improve the nation's gross domestic product in the second quarter of the year. They opine that it will bring about increased spending and economic activities will improve. The signing of the budget would also provide a policy direction for investors, as investors always need a direction to make investments. And away from Nigeria, as the trade war between United States and China continues, economists forecast that whoever wins the bitter trade row between the two biggest world economies, the consequences will spread to other parts of the world and would cost up to $600 billion of global GDP. Trade representatives from Washington and Beijing had been suiting the markets after they introduced tit-for-tat tariffs hikes. Chiazalam Eki, NTA News.
You are watching the news on NTA International. We will take a break now. Please stay tuned.
One Football Confederation, 24 teams, 6 stadiums, 4 cities, 504 African stars, 1 trophy. The Africa Cup of Nations Egypt 2019 comes alive from June 21 with the showpiece final on July 19, 2019. Watch the 52 matches of the tournament live on Africa's biggest and largest television network, NTA, in partnership with Hot Sports. Be part of the biggest soccer fiesta in the African continent as the Super Eagles go on a bold mission to clinch the prestigious title for the 4th time, to the excitement of millions of fans across the length and breadth of Nigeria. For inquiries, please contact Abubakar on 0803-331-0175 and Felix on 0803-308-2375. NTA, you can't beat the rich.
Welcome back. Now, to ensure public participation in governance towards stemming the tide of corruption in Nigeria, the National Orientation Agency is evaluating the application of the Freedom of Information Act and its impact on national development. Linda Ogidi has the details.
The clamor for the passage of the Freedom of Information Act lasted for many years. The euphoria that greeted its passage gradually faded with each passing day with little impact. That is why the National Orientation Agency is sensitizing Nigerian citizens for whom the law is meant on its objectives and the benefits to accrue to the people through its usage, as well as the losses by non-compliance and specific rules that are expected of them.
Stakeholder engagement is therefore in furtherance of our commitment to openness in government and the government's processes, and the part of our efforts at ensuring that there is a deep nationwide implementation of the Freedom of Information Act.
It is only through communication, cooperation, and more importantly, collaboration among stakeholders that this task of reinforcement of citizens' confidence can be optimally achieved.
In an effort to make the military more accessible in compliance with the Freedom of Information Act, the Defense Headquarters and the services have been more open to the public.
The Freedom of Information Act has been interpreted in 3 languages, and they are Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, to make it easy to comprehend by Nigerians. In Abuja, Linda Ogidi, NTA News.
The Niger Delta Ministry is contemplating more developmental projects that would add more value to the livelihood of people in the region and also enhance national unity. Niger Delta Minister Usani said this at the presentation of the ministry's record card in the past 3 years. Evaluating the ministry's performance so far, the minister attributed the successes recorded to a new approach in the implementation of the Niger Delta Action Plan. The minister said under his watch, the narrative of violence, militancy and other antisocial behaviors that characterized the region has been reversed.
And I and some other ministry officials have been going around commissioning some projects. The basis of commissioning these projects has been that we did not want to leave some of them that have been completed some time ago to lie fallow, because without the commissioning, their use will never be realized. So we did that so the communities could take access and ownership and begin to make use of them. We have carried out interventions in virtually all sectors of the economy or society under our mandate as a ministry, given the instrumentality of the establishment of the ministry. And that is why we have enhanced some of the communities in the agri subsector, what I will call household economic enhancement by training and empowerment through starter packs, by also intervening in health sector and in the education sector.
Joseph Johnson reports that as the Buhari administration begins its second tenure, Osani expressed the hope that the document will be a guide for the collective development of the region for the prosperity of Nigeria. The trial of Dino Melaye at the Federal Capital Territory High Court in Apo area of Abuja has been adjourned to September 11, 2019 for continuation. Presiding Judge Justice Sylvester Oji gave the order this Tuesday during the resumed trial of the 6-count charge against Dino Melaye by the Nigeria Police Force. Dele Atumbi reports.
The trial of Dino Melaye is on a 6-count charge of alleged attempted murder, attempt to escape from police custody, as well as willful damage of police bus conveying the defendant from Abuja to Lokoja for trial on 24th April 2018. Prosecution counsel Jovial Gojafo called the third prosecution witness Alao Muhammad, a sergeant with the police, who told the court what allegedly transpired on 24th April 2018 between the police and the defendant. The prosecution counsel told the court that on their way to Lokoja along Area 1 Junction, a Hilux van intercepted their boss. At this point, he said Dino Melaye allegedly smashed the window screen of the bus and forcefully jumped out of it. The prosecution witness also alleged that the occupants of the Hilux bolted with Dino Melaye, who had threatened to kill himself and implicate the police. During cross-examination, prosecution counsel asked the witness if he could identify the boss and the Hilux, which the witness replied in the affirmative. At this point, the court rose to inspect the evidence within the court premises. Back in court, defense counsel Benson Igbano attempted to tender the alleged certified true copy of the statement made by the prosecution witness. Prosecution counsel, however, objected to its admissibility while relying on Section 104 of the Evidence Act for lack of payment of prescribed fee. The court ruled in favor of the submission of the prosecution and directed the defense counsel to pay the fee before the adjourned date.
It was needful to test the truth, the veracity, and the reliability of his testimony with things he said.
The case has been adjourned to enable the defense team to put their house in order.
In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
Let's now join Uche Ugochukwu for stories on the global scene.
Austrian Chancellor Sebastian Kurz left office on Tuesday after Parliament voted out his conservative provisional government, blaming him in part for a political crisis triggered by a video sting scandal that felled his far-right deputy. President Alexandra Van der Bellen formally relieved the cabinet of its duties and asked ministers except Kurz to carry on for some days until a caretaker cabinet is chosen, pending the next parliamentary election in September. In the UK, Foreign Secretary Jeremy Hunt said it would be political suicide for Britain to pursue a no-deal Brexit. He has become the most senior figure vying to succeed Prime Minister Theresa May to rule out and draw a battle line with rival contenders. Meanwhile, European Union leaders meet in Brussels to bargain over who will take the bloc's top jobs for the next 5 years. And U.S. President Donald Trump expects that Japan's military will reinforce U.S. forces throughout Asia and elsewhere as key U.S. ally upgrades the ability of its forces to operate further from its shores. Trump's comments followed his inspection of Japan's largest warship, the Kaga, a helicopter carrier designed to carry submarine hunting helicopters to distant waters. Finally, a two-day general strike in Sudan started in the early hours of Tuesday, with public services largely grounded across the country. The latest move is a resort being used by the protest leaders to push for a civilian-led transition. Uche Ugochukwu, NTA News.
The foreign news there concludes the news at this hour. Thank you for watching. I am Nolin Ebel Ame.
This is NTA International.
Have you been thinking about coming to Nigeria? Then what are you waiting